The women meant nothing. 3 of them. Beautiful. Expensive. Draped across a 34-year-old Korean man in the VIP section of Seoul's most exclusive club. One ran her fingers through his hair. Another pressed her lips to his neck. The third whispered promises into his ear. He felt nothing. The dragon of Gangnam sat like a statue, his sharp jaw clenched, his dark eyes staring at nothing. Black and gray dragon tattoos crawled up his neck, disappearing beneath his wrinkled designer shirt. A half-empty bottle of whiskey sat on the table before him. His 10th bottle this week. Appa, one of the women purred, trying to turn his face toward her. Look at me. Let me make you feel good. He pushed her hand away. Not roughly. Just, emptily. The curse was back. That familiar burning beneath his skin. That endless, screaming need that no amount of alcohol or women or violence could satisfy. For 4 years, he'd been free. His wife's touch had cured him. Her presence had given him peace. Now she was gone. And the monster inside him was waking up. He reached for the whiskey. Drained what remained in his glass. The burn down his throat was the only thing he could feel anymore. Leave, he said quietly. The women exchanged confused glances. But Appa. I said leave. Something in his voice made them scramble. Within seconds, he was alone in the VIP booth, surrounded by empty glasses and the ghost of a life he'd lost. He closed his eyes. 3 days. 72 hours since they took everything from him. Since he'd come home to find blood on the floor and his family gone. Where's my wife? He whispered to no one. Where's my daughter? His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered, his voice dead. What? Mr. Choi. The voice was smooth. Cold. Familiar. Have you given any more thought to our proposal? Director Tanaka. The man who had stolen his world. I've thought about how I'm going to kill you. Colorful. But unhelpful. A pause. Your wife is comfortable. Your daughter less so. Children are fragile creatures. They don't adapt well to captivity. Sang-woo's grip on the phone tightened until the screen cracked. If you hurt them. Hurt them? Mr. Choi, I'm trying to understand them. Your wife's blood contains genetic markers we've never seen before. And your daughter. Tanaka's voice held genuine wonder. She's extraordinary. The concentration of healing factors in her DNA is 10 times what we found in her mother. She could revolutionize medicine. Change the world. She's 4 years old. Age is irrelevant to science. I will find you. I will tear apart every obsidian facility on this planet. And when I get to you, I will make you beg for death. You have 48 hours to reconsider your position. After that, I begin more invasive testing. The line went dead. Sang-woo hurled the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. 48 hours. His wife. His daughter. His miracle and his legacy. 48 hours to save them both. But how had it happened? How had Obsidian taken his family from a fortress? Hello lovelies, welcome to part 3 of this classic series. If you are yet to watch the other parts, check the channel so you don't miss out on all that has been happening. Click that subscribe button now to be a part of this lovely community and enjoy top-notch storytelling. Drop a comment so we can bond better. Now let's dive into today's story. 3 days earlier, everything had been perfect. Nana was playing in the garden, her laughter floating through open windows. Baby Kofi was sleeping in his nursery. Alma was in her study, researching her grandmother's journal, still searching for answers about their bloodline. And Sang-woo had been meeting with Kwon about a business expansion. Nothing urgent. Nothing dangerous. He'd come home to silence. The guards were dead, 12 men, killed without a single shot being fired. Whoever had done this was professional. Military. Precise. The nursery was untouched. Kofi was still sleeping, somehow unharmed. But Alma's study showed signs of struggle. Overturned furniture. Books scattered. A smear of blood on the doorframe. And Nana's room. He couldn't think about Nana's room. The stuffed animals knocked to the floor. The tiny handprint in blood on the wall. His daughter, his baby girl, dragged from her home by monsters. The only clue was a business card left on the kitchen counter. Black with silver lettering. Obsidian. Now, 3 days later, he sat in a club surrounded by women who couldn't fill the void, drinking himself toward oblivion. But the call had changed something. 48 hours. Invasive testing. No more waiting. No more drinking. No more despair. The dragon was done mourning. It was time to hunt. How did Obsidian get past 12 armed guards without a single shot fired? Who inside Sang-woo's organization betrayed him? And will he find his family in time? If you're already invested in this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because what happens next will break you. Jae-hwan was waiting at the safe house when Sang-woo arrived. "You look terrible," his brother said flatly. Status report. "We've traced Obsidian communications to 3 possible locations. A research facility in Hokkaido. A private compound in the Philippines. And a converted hospital ship currently anchored in international waters off the coast of Japan. Which one has my family? Unknown. Obsidian's operational security is unlike anything I've seen. They're using rotating encryption, satellite-linked communications, dead drops. I don't care about their security. I care about finding my wife and daughter." Jae-hwan hesitated. "There might be a way. But you're not going to like it. Tell me." Yoonji. The name hit Sang-woo like a physical blow. Yoonji. The woman who had tried to destroy his family twice. The woman currently serving a 15-year sentence for conspiracy and attempted murder. She worked with Jade Tiger, Jae-hwan continued. And Jade Tiger was Obsidian's front organization in Asia. If anyone knows how to penetrate their networks. No. Hyung-nim. I said no. Sang-woo turned away, his hands clenched. That woman has caused enough damage. I won't give her another opportunity. Then how do you plan to find them? We have 48 hours and 3 possible locations spread across thousands of miles. By the time we search them all, I'll find another way. But even as he said it, he knew there wasn't another way. Obsidian had been planning this for years. They knew his resources, his methods, his weaknesses. They'd taken his family from inside a fortress without raising a single alarm. He needed someone who understood how they thought. He needed Yoonji. The prison hadn't changed since his last visit. Gray walls. Harsh lighting. The smell of industrial cleaner barely masking decades of desperation. Yoonji was brought to the visiting room in chains. She looked thinner than before. More tired. But her eyes still held that calculating intelligence he'd learned to respect and fear. "You came back," she said, settling into the chair across from him. "I heard about your family. I'm sorry. I don't want your sympathy. I want information. About Obsidian. You worked with their people for 2 years. You know how they operate." Yoonji studied him for a long moment. "Why would I help you? After everything?" "Because whatever you did to my family, you never tried to hurt my daughter." "Not directly." He leaned forward. "These people have her, Yoonji. They have my 4-year-old child. And they're talking about invasive testing." Something flickered in Yoonji's eyes. Pain? Regret? He couldn't tell. "When I worked with Jade Tiger," she said slowly, "there was a woman. A scientist. Dr. Yuki Sato. She handled the medical side of their operations, the blood work, the genetic testing. She was the one who first identified that your wife might carry what they were looking for." "Where is she now?" "Dead, as far as I know. But she kept records. Off-site backups that even Jade Tiger didn't know about. Insurance, in case things went wrong. Where? A storage facility in Busan. Unit 447. The access code is 7-7-2-9-1. Sang-woo memorized the information. Why are you helping me? Yoonji looked down at her chained hands. Because I used to be a nurse. Before all of this. I wanted to help people. Heal them. She laughed bitterly. I lost my way. Let jealousy and obsession turn me into a monster. But your daughter, she's innocent. She doesn't deserve what they'll do to her. What will they do? You don't want to know. Tell me. Yoonji met his eyes. They'll drain her. Not just her blood, her bone marrow, her spinal fluid, her genetic material. They believe the healing factor is concentrated in certain tissues. They'll extract everything they can until there's nothing left. Her voice dropped. She won't survive the process. Neither will your wife. Sang-woo felt the world tilt beneath him. His daughter. His baby girl. How long? If Tanaka is following standard Obsidian protocols? Maybe 72 hours from the start of testing. Less if they're in a hurry. He stood abruptly. I'm getting them back. I know. Yoonji called out as he walked toward the door. Sang-woo. He paused but didn't turn. The ship. The hospital ship in international waters. That's where they'll do the extraction. It's mobile, untraceable, and outside any country's jurisdiction. If your family is anywhere, they're there. He left without another word. But her information would save his family. The storage unit in Busan contained exactly what Yoonji had promised. Files. Hard drives. Photographs. Years of Dr. Sato's research into what she called genetic regeneration factors, the scientific explanation for what Alma's family had always called the gift. Jae-won's tech team worked through the night, decrypting files and cross-referencing data. By morning, they had what they needed. The mercy of dawn, Jae-won reported, pulling up satellite imagery on a large screen. Hospital ship, converted from a decommissioned naval vessel. Currently anchored approximately 200 kilometers off the coast of Nagasaki. International waters, just like Yoonji said. Sang-woo studied the images. The ship was massive, 300 meters long, bristling with antennas and satellite equipment. Armed guards patrolled the deck. Smaller boats surrounded it in a defensive perimeter. Security assessment? Heavy. At least 50 armed personnel, plus an unknown number of researchers and support staff. Helicopter pad on the rear deck suggests they can evacuate quickly if threatened. Entry points? 3. Main boarding ramp, which is heavily guarded. Service entrance on the lower deck, accessible only by small watercraft. And the cargo hold, which is loaded by crane from supply ships. Sang-woo traced his finger along the ship's outline. The service entrance. That's our way in. It's a suicide mission, Hyungnim. Even if we get aboard, we'll be outnumbered 10-1. Then we don't get into a fight. We get in, find my family, and get out before they know we're there. And if something goes wrong? Sang-woo looked at his brother. Then I kill everyone on that ship. 15 men against 50. One ship in the middle of nowhere. And a 4-year-old girl running out of time. Drop a comment right now telling me, do you think Sang-woo can pull this off? Or is this rescue mission doomed from the start? Keep watching to find out. They assembled the team in 12 hours. 15 men. Sang-woo's best. Combat veterans, former special forces, men who would die without hesitation. But before they departed, there was one more thing he had to do. He went to the safe house where Kofi was being protected. His infant son, barely a year old, sleeping peacefully in a crib surrounded by armed guards. Sang-woo stood over the crib, watching his son breathe. I'm going to bring them home, he whispered. Your mother. Your sister. I'm bringing them back to you. Kofi stirred slightly, his tiny fist closing around nothing. And when this is over, when we're all together again, I'm going to give you the life I never had. Peace. Safety. Love. His voice cracked. I promise you, son. I promise. He touched his son's cheek one last time. Then he went to war. The approach took 6 hours. 3 small boats, running dark, cutting through the night sea toward the mercy of dawn. No lights. No radio communication. Just the quiet hum of engines and the crash of waves against hulls. Sang-woo stood at the prow of the lead boat, binoculars raised, watching the hospital ship grow larger against the starlit sky. Somewhere aboard that vessel, his wife and daughter were waiting. Praying for rescue. Or maybe just praying for it to end. He wouldn't let them down. 200 meters, Jae-hwan reported through the earpiece. Cutting engines. Approaching on drift. The boats went silent, gliding through the water like ghosts. The ship's bulk blocked out the stars, a massive shadow against the night. 50 meters. 20. 10. They reached the service entrance without detection. Sang-woo was first up the ladder, his movements swift and silent despite his size. 2 guards at the entrance. He took them both before they could raise an alarm, quick, efficient, merciful in its speed. Clear, he whispered. Team 1, with me. Team 2, secure our exit. They moved through the ship's corridors like shadows, following the blueprints they'd memorized from Dr. Sato's files. Medical Wing. Deck 3. The extraction facility where Obsidian performed their most sensitive procedures. Where his family was being held. He found Alma first. She was strapped to a bed in a sterile white room, IVs running into both arms, monitoring equipment beeping steadily around her. Her eyes were closed. Her goddess locks were splayed across the pillow, some of them matted with blood. Alma. He was at her side in an instant, cutting the straps, pulling out the IVs. Alma, wake up. I'm here. Her eyes fluttered open. Unfocused at first, then sharpening with recognition. Sang-woo? Her voice was barely a whisper. You came. I will always come. He helped her sit up, supporting her weight. Where's Nana? Where is she? Next room. They took her an hour ago for more tests. Tears spilled down Alma's cheeks. They're hurting her, Sang-woo. I can hear her crying. I can't. I'm getting her. I'm getting both of you out. He looked at Jae-hwan, who had entered behind him. Stay with her. Get her to extraction. Hyung-nim, you can't go alone. But Sang-woo was already gone. The next room was locked. He didn't bother with subtlety, put 3 rounds into the mechanism and kicked the door open. What he saw inside made him want to burn the world. Nana was strapped to a medical table, her small body almost lost among the equipment surrounding her. Tubes ran from her arms, her neck, her spine. A machine hummed beside her, slowly filling collection bags with fluids that should have stayed inside his daughter's body. She was pale. Too pale. Her eyes were closed, her breathing shallow. A woman in a white coat stood beside the table, Asian, middle-aged, holding a tablet. She looked up as Sang-woo entered, more surprised than afraid. You must be the father. I'm Dr. Yuki Tanaka. The director's daughter. Her voice was clinical. Detached. Impressive that you found us. But I'm afraid you're too late. The extraction is nearly complete. Sang-woo raised his gun. Step away from my daughter. If I disconnect her now, without following proper procedures, the shock could kill her. Dr. Tanaka's expression didn't change. Is that what you want? His hand trembled. Every instinct screamed at him to put a bullet in this woman's head. But if she was telling the truth, if pulling Nana free would hurt her. Tell me how to disconnect her safely. I'm the only one who knows the sequence. And I'm not inclined to share it. She tilted her head, studying him. Unless we can make a deal. What kind of deal? My father is a monster. I've known it for years. But I'm trapped, part of his organization, his legacy, his crimes. Help me disappear, and I'll save your daughter. Why should I trust you? Because I'm not like him. I became a doctor to heal people, not harvest them. For the first time, emotion flickered in her eyes. That child has more potential than anything we've ever studied. She could cure diseases we thought were incurable. Save millions of lives. But my father would rather drain her dry than let her live. Sang-woo's mind raced. Trust her and risk betrayal. Refuse and risk his daughter's life. Do it, he said finally. Save her, and I'll get you out. Dr. Tanaka nodded and moved to the equipment. Her fingers flew across the controls, initiating a shutdown sequence that made the machines beep and were in protest. One by one, the tubes retracted from Nana's small body. She gasped, a tiny, painful sound, and her eyes opened. Appa? Sang-woo was at her side in an instant, gathering her into his arms. She was so light. Too light. Like a bird made of paper and wishes. I've got you, princess. Appa's got you. I knew you'd come. Her voice was weak but certain. I told them my Appa would come. He held her tighter, tears streaming down his face that he didn't bother to hide. His daughter. His miracle. Alive. We need to go, Dr. Tanaka said. My father will have been alerted by now. His men will be coming. Then let them come. Sang-woo stood, Nana cradled against his chest. I'll kill anyone who gets in my way. The ship erupted into chaos. Alarms blaring. Guards mobilizing. Gunfire echoing through metal corridors. Sang-woo moved through it like a force of nature, his gun in one hand, his daughter clutched protectively against him with the other. Anyone who stepped into his path went down. He wasn't aiming to wound. Jae-hwan met them at the extraction point with Alma, who reached for Nana with desperate hands. Baby. My baby.